With so many mod packs out there, it's very hard to find the right one that will keep you entertained for years. The safest and most recommended bets by the community are the two giants, Joyride mod pack made by me, and Bomb Dash brought to you by the lovely people in Russia. While looking for other lesser mod packs to try out, I stumbled upon Ebinei mod pack. I know about it since its first version was released, and I was shocked to see how many people actually defend this work and consider it worthwhile to play. Just because I'm an overly skeptical of everything asshole and I have way too much time on my hands to do everything else but not release JRMP 2.6, I decided to give the mod pack a try. If you are one of the fans of the mod pack, just remember that I'm not attacking the author or the creation specifically. I don't care about the context in which this mod pack was made, either for fun or regardless. I'm here to make an honest review and I'm not gonna hold back. If Ebinei wants to improve his work, and judging by the credits section he really wants to, then he can watch this video and see what the problems are and what could be improved. Before we start, let's discuss what the mod pack tries to achieve. It's a mod pack with the focus on new game modes and maps. There are also 2 new characters and no new power-ups. I'm not gonna subtract points just because there's nothing new in the power-ups, that's just not my style. I'm gonna judge everything that was added on its own merits and compare it to the original game, unless mod packs did something better in some fields. All this mod pack has to do to be good is make good looking maps with engaging gameplay and select game modes that are fun to play and master. For starters, the main menu looks pretty good. It's definitely way better than in the first versions, that's for sure. It's mostly greens and it's pleasing to look at, unlike some other mod packs I loathe. The mod pack adds 2 characters and I gotta be honest, those are pretty lazy. The first one uses models already in the game, voices are inconsistent and the character enters puberty when he dies and sounds like he's kicked in the balls. Overall, a disappointment. Just record your own sounds or hire someone to record them for you. Heck, most of the JRMP character voices are made by me, and if you look at the original game, some characters use stock sounds like Bernard for instance. The other character this mod pack adds is Pikachu, and the problems are very apparent. In the games and the 90s anime, Pikachu is basically a mouse with electric powers. In every shot he's alongside humans, we know he's the size of a small dog. Of course, adding a Bomb Squad character that small is out of the question, so instead they decided to make him a giant. That looks incredibly distracting. If he was human size, I wouldn't pay too much attention to this, but I don't think that's going to be possible with these proportions. Pikachu perfectly highlights the main problems with new characters in all amateur mod packs in general. Textures are automatically brightened when in the game, so when a texture looks like this, in-game it looks way brighter than it should. Instead of making it darker, adding some bump maps and making it organic so it fits with other characters in the universe, Pikachu is just a walking yellow flat color blob. The character design itself can be exaggerated to fit the Bomb Squad art style. Every character has a slightly bigger head to make them look cute, but Pikachu has his head morphed into his body. Unless you know what you're doing, it's almost necessary to stick with the proportions the game set in stone. Unless you are trying something different and the character itself makes sense. To add insult to injury, the sounds are also incredibly delayed, lower quality and way too quiet to make an impact in the game. You can hear them absolutely, but you need to actively look out for those noises to be heard when there are no explosions and the music isn't too loud. Here are the audio files compared to other mod packs and the original. To make those voices stand out, you need to find a higher quality audio and normalize it to get the most signal possible without distorting it. Pikachu's sound is most likely a game rip, probably from Smash Bros. Or Pokémon Stadium, but those games are made for all the consoles that don't have the greatest audio capability due to game size or technology. On Sound Resource there are rips from newer Pokémon titles, so just use those instead. I said there are 2 characters, but I lied. There are actually 3, but the third one is a boring agent reskin, so I didn't even bother. Alright, characters are just lazy additions. That's not really the main attraction of the mod pack. And you would be right. Let's see what game modes— oh look, it's my collector game mode, it's pretty dank! Jokes aside, with the exception of a few, most game modes get boring pretty fast or have no reason to exist. Let's do a quick roll call, shall we? Meteor Shower, but more annoying. Phone Lag Simulator 2018. Target Practice, but there's no practice and it's boring. Last Stand, but in real time without spawners being adjusted. And other god-awful game modes courtesy of Community Mod Manager. And remember, that was one of the selling points of this mod pack. No need to install Mod Manager to get more mods, but there are several issues with that. Number 1. Some mods get updates to make them better and you have to constantly make new revisions of the mod pack. Number 2. If you already have Community Mod Manager installed, you're gonna get cloned game modes or inconsistent versions of them. Number 3. Installation of the mod manager is simple from the start, making this addition pointless in the mod pack. This change in theory should make people get more game modes easy without hassle, but all it does is decrease the quality of the mod pack itself and introduce problems when you already have it installed. But you know, along with bad characters, bad game modes, and whatever this abstract painting is, I forgot to mention one thing, the thing that is going to save this mod pack from the realms of mediocrity, boredom and existential agony. New maps. Oh, you thought I was going to be enthusiastic? You thought these maps would change my entire perception of this mod pack? Ha! 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 Nope! But let's look at the specifics, huh? Anilesh is a wooden map that's not fun to play. For a flat map it's decent, but the inconsistent collisions and flat artificial look ruins it all. Camera also wasn't properly aligned and the map itself is way too big. When two people play, everyone is an ant. When it comes to collisions, these should be the simplest of them all. Visuals can get fancy, but collisions are sacred and need to be done in service of gameplay, not in service of realism. What I mean by that, these gaps are so small these shouldn't be included in the collision mesh, but definitely in the visible model. Speaking of realism, does this look like something that was built by a human being? Now look at this. And that. Any questions? If you want to make a map entirely made by modeling software, just look at this map here, and this one here. These were done by simulating light, using organic textures and then pre-rendering them to make them diegetic. Even if they won't totally capture the essence of space and realism that building the map of your own gets, the least you can do is try, and if you don't try, you get this boring mess. The parkour map has basically the same problem with other ones thrown in. It's obvious this map wasn't made for deathmatch and other game modes. Why not just make a new co-op game mode for it? Or even add race support? Even that is too hard? This map is flat, it's ugly, and someone forgot what smooth shading is in Blender when pre-rendering the texture. Also, someone doesn't understand how to make a convincing pre-rendered texture. If you don't know what you're doing, it doesn't help any. It's like having Paint and Photoshop. If you want to draw on either of these, drawing in Photoshop just gives you more options. It doesn't improve your overall skill. And this one, I don't know what to say. All it makes me think is from which website this map was stolen from. And you can also go behind scenery, so don't fight in there, okay? And this map. When making models, sounds and textures, there's a point in which the extra details go invisible during gameplay. This issue here is the #1 reason no one can fit your fat ass inside your phone. Why this matters is that the details that will never be seen or appreciated by anyone add up to the file size. Just look at this boy here. Alright, what else we can discuss? More maps. What about this one? The Revealed. Lazy. And I can go through ground. Planet Hindi. Lazier. The Null. Look, I tried to be as calm and forgiving as possible while dealing with this mod pack, but to tell you the truth, I'm baffled that I was able to get this much runtime from such little material to work with. Because here's the kicker, as bad as Bomdash is, at least it gives me plenty of stuff to talk about. I could make an analysis video that lasts half an hour if I was suicidal enough. While they don't care about the art style at all, throw random ideas just for the sake of it and trying to milk you for money, at least it has personality, something unmistakable. If I think Bomdash, I will always think dubstep and cringy sounds and characters. Abinay modpack has no personality, nothing going for it. It's the literal definition of a cabbage. The modpack seems incredibly unfocused. It adds game modes which are buggy, adds persistent scorches which look ugly when played on the same map for too long, and don't tell me it's the modpack's fault, because it is. The creator at one point looked at the creation and said, yes, this is what I want, this is quality right there. That is something that should be preserved and shown to more people. Now a message to the creator. I once talked with you and I know how grateful you are to me for what I did for you, so you seeing me as blast your work might be a little heartbreaking for you. But remember, I was in that place before. There are 2 game modes that I regret sharing. It was a nice practice but not something to brag about. Nowadays I brag about JRMP, but that's because that's something that pushed the standard on what's expected from modders. I put in hours of work thinking about if a certain game mechanic is even worth adding. The ability to throw your ideas in the trash is a skill that needs to be fleshed out. It's a skill of a real game designer, and I wouldn't be here unless I learned everything myself. There were almost no tutorials on modding at that time, but I kept pushing and expanding my boundaries regardless. Nowadays we have Discord, JRMP, and other modpacks that, either good or bad, help us understand the delicate craft of modding. So even if you feel real hatred towards me, listen. Take my advice. Your modpack was a bomb and I really wanted to tell you why. Because in a perfect world, people would love everything no matter how bad it is. But this is the reality we're talking about. I don't work on JRMP anymore, so I hope that there will one day be a modpack just as good as JRMP. But that will never happen if we don't view things from a critical light. I hope you understand.